Once again, we have a major update regarding food stamps for the month of November. A lot has been happening over the past few hours. And finally, we've received confirmation directly from the President himself about what's going on. After days of uncertainty, questions, and constant back-and-forth information, we now have a clearer picture of what to expect. And yes, that includes the confirmation that November's food stamp payments are officially moving forward. It's been a roller coaster of a day. Earlier, we were hearing reports that SNAP benefits could be delayed or even stopped due to the ongoing government shutdown. Then, within just a few hours, everything shifted. 2 federal judges stepped in with emergency rulings that completely changed the situation. And then, not long after that, the President took to Truth Social to make an announcement that gave millions of Americans a sigh of relief. So, here's where we stand right now. According to the latest post from the President, the administration is preparing to make food stamp payments as soon as possible. That's a direct confirmation that benefits for November are indeed being distributed. But as with everything in Washington lately, there's still more to this story, and a lot of moving parts behind the scenes. Let's rewind a little. Earlier this afternoon, 2 separate federal judges ruled that the government must continue funding the food stamp program despite the shutdown. They ordered that the $5.25 billion contingency fund set aside for emergencies be used to pay these benefits immediately. This decision essentially forced the administration's hand, ensuring that no one would be left without essential food support during the shutdown. Following that ruling, the President's legal team began reviewing how those payments can legally and quickly be sent out. There's been some internal debate among government attorneys about how exactly these funds can be accessed under current shutdown rules. But according to the President's statement, they've now asked the courts for official guidance on how to proceed with distributing SNAP benefits right away. So, even though the situation has been confusing, with information changing almost hourly, the bottom line is this. 2 federal courts have ordered that food stamps must continue, and the President has confirmed that his administration will comply. That means payments are coming. Now, of course, there's still a process. These benefits won't appear instantly. The USDA, which manages SNAP at the federal level, has to transfer funds to the states. Then, each state processes and sends the payments to individual EBT cards. That process can take a few days. So, even though the decision has been made, people may not see their benefits reflected until early next week, possibly within the first week of November. This delay isn't unusual. Once funding is approved or reactivated, it typically takes a bit of time for systems to restart and for money to flow through all the proper channels. The federal government needs to release the funds, state agencies have to distribute them, and then the payments finally reach the recipients' cards. Now, here's where it gets even more interesting. Initially, officials were saying that if the government only had enough money to send partial payments, they couldn't later send the rest. That led to massive confusion, with many wondering if they'd get only half their benefit for the entire month. But as of today, that has changed. According to the most recent guidance, the contingency fund can be used to cover roughly half of the monthly benefits. Then, once everything is resolved and the government is fully funded again, beneficiaries will receive retroactive payments for any remaining amount owed. So yes, if you receive a partial payment at first, the rest will follow later once the situation stabilizes. That's new information, and it's very important for everyone relying on SNAP benefits this month. This update represents a big step forward. It shows that there's finally a plan in place, and not just confusion and delay. For days, the situation seemed chaotic. One moment it looked like payments would stop entirely, then it sounded like partial payments might happen. And now we have confirmation that full benefits will ultimately be delivered, even if part of it comes later. Now, to put things into perspective, this all began because of the government shutdown. Congress hasn't passed a full funding bill, and that's what caused the interruption. When lawmakers fail to approve funding, certain programs, including SNAP, risk running out of money. That's why that $5.25 billion emergency fund exists, to make sure people can still access essential benefits during these gaps. But here's the catch. That fund only covers about half of what's needed for 1 month of food stamp payments nationwide. So while it's enough to get things moving again, it's not a long-term solution. The rest depends on when Congress finally comes together to reopen the government and allocate the remaining funds. So where does this leave things right now? Well, We have a court order, a presidential confirmation, and emergency money ready to be released. That's good news. What we don't have yet is an exact date when the funds will hit people's cards. Based on how long these processes usually take, it could be anywhere from a few days to about a week. That means beneficiaries should expect potential delays in the first few days of November, but the benefits are on their way. The judges have also set a deadline. They've asked for further clarification by Monday on how the payments will be handled going forward, so we can expect additional updates and official instructions within the next few days. That's why this weekend is likely to bring even more breaking news on this issue. It's been a confusing time for millions of Americans, and understandably so. The back and forth between different agencies, attorneys, and court rulings has made it hard to know what's really happening. But as of now, the facts are solid. 2 courts have ruled that payments must continue, and the president has publicly agreed to make it happen. If you're a SNAP recipient, the best thing you can do right now is prepare for a short delay and stay updated over the next few days. Once the USDA transfers the funds to the states, payments will begin processing. After that, the money will show up on EBT cards, possibly within the first week of November. Some sources have hinted that beneficiaries could start seeing deposits as early next week, though no official timeline has been guaranteed. The system has to move step by step, and each state will handle the timing slightly differently. So, even though the process might take a few extra days, this latest ruling means that no one will be left without food assistance this month. That's what matters most right now. It's worth noting how quickly things have changed. Just days ago, the administration was saying there wasn't any money left to fund SNAP. Then it was discovered that $525 billion remained in the contingency fund, money that could legally be used in emergency situations. For a moment, there was confusion over whether that money could actually be accessed. Some government attorneys said yes, others said no. But with this latest court decision, the issue seems settled. The money can and must be used to fund November benefits. Now it's all about execution. How fast can the system move? How soon can the USDA and individual states coordinate to get that money distributed? Those are the next questions we'll get answers to in the coming days. The situation may feel chaotic, but that's just how federal systems tend to work during shutdowns. It's complex. It involves multiple agencies, and sometimes even the experts don't have clear answers at first. But the good news is that things are trending in the right direction, towards stability and payment resumption. So, to recap the key points, 2 federal judges have ordered the government to continue food stamp payments. The president confirmed that SNAP benefits will be paid out as soon as possible. The $5.25 billion contingency fund will cover about half of November's payments. Retroactive payments will be sent later for any unpaid amounts once funding is restored. Expect a delay of a few days before funds reach EBT cards, likely within the first week of November. That's where things stand tonight. It's been a long and confusing few days, but we're finally seeing real progress. For the millions of Americans who depend on this assistance, especially families, seniors, and individuals with disabilities. This update brings much-needed relief. We'll continue monitoring every development over the weekend and early next week as the courts and administration finalize their steps. If more details come in, I'll be here to break them down for you clearly and accurately, without the political noise. In the meantime, if you're on food stamps or SNAP benefits, just know that this situation is being handled, and the courts have ensured that payments cannot stop during this shutdown. Relief is on the way.